I'm going to talk to you about dealing with chronically negative people. Being around a person who's chronically negative is exhausting and frustrating, and at times can be just infuriating. If you've got one of those people in your life, you probably have this impulse to try to change them, to correct their negativity, to tell them why things are not so negative, why they're more positive. And you've also found that doesn't work. In fact, in my experience, that makes it worse. Some people are born with a pessimistic personality. Some people are born with optimistic personality. Some people learn as a response to life that a lot of bad things have happened to them and that they become soured or bitter and become negative because of that. So these are pretty entrenched things, personality and a whole response to a lot of bad things happening in your life. I don't know that you're going to change that you're going to be able to talk the person out of it. So, what are some of the things that you can do when you're dealing with a chronically negative person? Well, the first one is you could choose. How much do you want to be around that person? Do you want to see them every week? Do you want to call the person every day? If you're married to that person, that's a little harder, but you can still decide, like, are you going to spend every night listening to this person talk and talk and talk? Like, you can decide, you know, I'm going to talk for a couple minutes about this and then I'm done. I'm not going to listen to anymore. You can be honest with someone. You can say, I'm finding it really hard to take in all the negativity. You're very negative and I feel stressed. So I'm going to listen to it and then that's it. I don't want to like talk about this particular subject anymore. Or you can get off the phone and say, I got to go, got things to do. You can go visit a parent once a week or once a month instead of every day. You can have a conversation on the phone once a week instead of every day. Those are choices that you can make. And that really helps when you're dealing with somebody that's negative. The other one is that you can listen and give the person an opportunity to voice their concerns, say what it is that's bothering them, and then you can change the subject. Don't try to talk them out of the negativity. It only means they're going to respond back to you with reasons why they should be so negative. You are only going to talk about it longer, not shorter. So gently change, not rudely, gently change the conversation. Next one, when you do speak, be straightforward, be factual. Don't exaggerate a positive outcome to that is just so ridiculous that the other person is just like, no way, that is not going to happen. And they start listing all the reasons. So if you think that there's a positive possibility, you can say something like, well, I hope that it turns out better than that. Like, I'm hoping that things will be positive. I'm hoping it will be fun. I hope it's fun for you. You can say that rather than, oh my gosh, it's going to be the best birthday you ever had or the best visit to your family you ever had. It's going to be wonderful. The person's just going to be like, get off of it. That's ridiculous. Like, I'm tell you all the reasons why it's not. The next one is talk about your own news, but invite the person in to converse about yours so that they don't pull it all the way back to them, which negative people tend to pull it back into them. So try to talk about your stuff in a way that's engaging and invite them to discuss yours or however that is. There's conversational skills that you can have that allow you to kind of control the topic of the conversation. If you know in advance that the person is going to be negative and talk down what you're going to say, think about how to present it in the most positive way that addresses the person's concerns when you bring it up, rather than bring it up like not thinking about what they would be concerned about. And then they're the one that has to bring up all the negative possibilities or all the negative concerns. So you can kind of think about that in advance. And then you definitely do not want to argue with their negativity and tell them all the reasons why their negativity is ridiculous. You are only going to, like I said, extend the conversation. Instead, you can say things like, oh, I hear your concerns. I can hear that bothers you. I can tell you're worried. So you're going to validate, because invalidating means people are going to, one, feel insulted and disconnected from you, and two, they're going to talk about it more, and they're going to try to stand up for themselves. They're going to reassert themselves and tell you all the reasons why that is true. Again, that isn't your goal. Your goal is not to talk about the negative topics longer. The goal is to talk about them shorter. So you're going to say things like, I hadn't thought of that. That's one possibility. Hope it turns out better. I hear you, or could be, hope not, or whatever it is, or oh, or say nothing and change the subject. So think about a short way to counter that's not rude, that's not discounting, but ends the discussion. And then the most important, don't take on their negative mood. Okay, we've got mirror neurons in our brains, and the mirror neurons fire when they see a mood in someone, and it gives us empathy by knowing what it feels like to feel that mood. It helps us recognize the moods. It's part of emotional intelligence, is to recognize what other people are feeling. So you have to make sure that you can stay separate and recognize that's that person's mood. I'm not going to let myself be pulled down because this person is down. I'm going to stay positive. I'm going to stay feeling good like I was before I started this conversation. I'm going to stay happy. I'm going to stay in a hopeful state. I'm not going to go all the way down. That's important. You can choose to detach by reminding yourself, I don't feel that way. That's that person's mood, not mine. I don't have to take it on. Remember, I didn't cause the mood. I can't fix the mood. I can't control the mood, but I can choose to not take the mood on. Okay. Those are very important. Don't get sucked in to their mood. So here are some verses. Proverbs 22, 24 through 25 kind of talks about this, taking on this person's mood, the opposite of detachment. Do not make friends with a hot-tempered man. Do not easily associate with one easily angered, or you may learn his ways and get yourself ensnared. So don't take on the anger from another person. When they're angry, you got to purposely say to yourself, not taking that on, I'm not going to become angry because that person's angry. Not going to respond with to anger, and I'm not going to feel angry. Okay. Next one, Philippians 4, 5 through 8 says, let your gentleness be evident to all. The Lord is near. Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything, by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your request to God, and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. Finally, brothers, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think on such things. Now, why does that relate? Okay, first of all, be gentle. Okay, don't be harsh and rude and mean with somebody who's negative. There's no need for that. You can, if you need to speak your truth in love and tell the person, I cannot handle all the negativity, I can only hear so much of it at one time, that's okay. That's speaking truth in love, but be gentle, be understanding. The person might have been born this way, then life piled on and made it even worse. But you can respond with gentleness. You don't want to be anxious about anything, okay? But in everything, by prayer and petition, recognizing this person is negative, okay, figure it out. How are you going to respond to this person? How are you going to deal with this person in a gentle way? Peace of God, which transcends all understanding, can rule your hearts and minds, even when you're with this negative person. Now, what do you want to think on? What do you want to talk about? Okay, so you can talk about things that are positive. You can talk about what's true, noble, right, pure, lovely, admirable. Those are the things that you can think about and talk about. Now, doesn't mean you can't ever say anything negative. If it's true, then it might need to be said, even though it's negative, even though it's difficult. But you can respond in ways that shape the conversation and don't take on the negativity and don't increase the negativity by arguing. So I hope this was helpful. And I hope you'll want to watch more videos. And just to let you know, I have started to put my videos up on my podcast channel. So they're there for you to listen to anytime you want to, if that's easier for you than watching the videos. So thank you very much for watching and listening.